In this 10th episode of the History of Fan Anime Redrafted, host William Chow explores another crucial aspect of the early anime fan community. The documentary continues its examination of the technological landscape that shaped the formative years of fan subtitling. Building upon previous episodes, this installment serves as essential context for the upcoming examination of Arctic Animation's formation. Viewers are encouraged to follow the series, as future episodes will delve deeper into this pivotal development in North American anime distribution. The focus of today's documentary segment centers on the technological environment of the late 1980s and early 1990s. This period proved particularly challenging for early subtitling efforts, as the technological limitations of the era presented significant obstacles to content creation and distribution. The documentary examines how the computing capabilities of this period severely restricted what creators could accomplish, especially when compared to modern technological standards. These limitations would prove to be fundamental in shaping the early approaches to anime fan subtitling. In examining the technological landscape of the late 1980s, host William Chow details the television equipment available during this pivotal period. He explains that prior to the era of personal video recorders, PVRs, and high-definition displays, standard tube-type color televisions dominated the market. These devices lacked modern connectivity options such as HDMI or DVI inputs, instead utilizing basic cable connections with standard audio and video inputs. The documentary reveals that television resolution during this period was significantly limited, operating at approximately 320 lines of resolution, far below contemporary standards like 1080p or 1080i. Chow elaborates on the primary medium for recording and storage, the VHS tape, with some consumers still utilizing beta format. While VHS technology offered accessible recording capabilities, the host explains its inherent limitations. Each successive generation of copies resulted in deteriorating quality, characterized by color degradation and picture instability. When duplicating from one video cassette to another, users encountered significant video loss, with images becoming increasingly unstable due to compromised synchronization levels. The documentary emphasizes how these technical constraints posed unique challenges for early anime distribution. Chow notes that these generational quality issues, common in analog formats like VHS, stand in stark contrast to modern digital media such as DVDs and streaming platforms, where such degradation is virtually non-existent. These technological limitations would prove to be a significant hurdle in the early days of anime distribution in North America. The host explains that computing systems of the era posed significant technological limitations. During this period, the gaming market was dominated by 8-bit computer consoles, including systems like the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo Entertainment System. William Chow details how the home computing landscape primarily consisted of Apple II series machines and Commodore 64 systems. While more advanced systems like the Macintosh, Amiga, and Atari 520 ST were emerging on the horizon, they had yet to achieve widespread market penetration. In his personal experience documenting this era, Chow utilized a Radio Shack Tandy 1000HX computer, which featured an Intel 8286 processor running at 8 MHz. The documentary examines the technical specifications of these early systems in detail. The Intel 8286 processors represented the first generation of 16-bit bus architecture in personal computing. While 16 MHz processing speeds were available, they were considered inadequate by modern standards. Contemporary processors operate at frequencies measured in thousands of megahertz, Chow notes. During this period, the more advanced 386 processors, featuring the first 32-bit bus architecture, were becoming available with speeds around 20 megahertz. However, these processors alone carried a prohibitive cost of approximately $1,000, making them inaccessible for many potential users. The documentary examines the costly computer systems of this era, which, despite their high price tags, offered limited functionality. Host William Chow demonstrates this by comparing processing speeds, noting that his Tandy computer operated at a mere 8 MHz. Modern computers with their quad-core processors easily achieve speeds of 8,000 MHz. To illustrate this stark contrast, Chow presents a practical example. While contemporary spreadsheet calculations occur almost instantaneously, the same operation on the Tandy 1000HX could require over 17 minutes to complete a single calculation and update the display. The host further elaborates on the severe storage limitations of these early systems. His Tandy HX computer relied solely on two types of removable storage, a 5.25-inch floppy disk and a 3.5-inch floppy disk. The documentary puts these storage constraints into perspective. While modern computers commonly feature terabyte-scale storage, capable of housing thousands of high-resolution images, the most advanced hard drive available for the HX system, priced at approximately $1,000, offered a mere 40 megabytes of storage capacity. To illustrate the severe storage limitations of the era, William Chow demonstrates that a 40 megabyte hard drive, the most advanced storage option available at the time, could store merely 16 high-resolution photographs. Drawing a comparison to modern technology, he notes that such limited capacity would be exhausted by a minimal number of digital images, whether they be personal photographs or casual snapshots of meals. The documentary emphasizes how this storage constraint made it impossible to perform the kind of video editing commonly seen in modern anime music videos, AMVs, or sophisticated graphical editing. The host explains that these early computers faced fundamental limitations in both storage capacity and processing power. The systems of that era, Chow elaborates, were simply incapable of handling musical data, picture files, or video content due to their limited processing capabilities. The solution to these technological constraints came in the form of peripheral devices, additional hardware components that could supplement the computer's basic functionality. These peripherals were necessary because the computers themselves lacked the processing power to perform these specialized tasks independently. The documentary explores how early computers required specialized peripheral devices to accomplish specific tasks. William Chow explains that two essential pieces of equipment were necessary for subtitle creation during this period: the Genlock device and the time-based corrector, TBC. The time-based corrector, as Chow demonstrates, served to stabilize video signals after combining computer and video data. The Genlock device, similar to technology used in television weather broadcasts, enabled the overlay of computer-generated text onto video footage. This technology allowed text to be superimposed over video by utilizing a green screen technique, where computer-generated text would appear in designated areas while video played in others. Due to the limited processing capabilities of computers at the time, Chow explains that these functions required dedicated external hardware. The documentary reveals that their initial attempts utilized a Genlock device with an Amiga computer, though this setup presented numerous technical challenges, including software compatibility issues and system instability. The host details how their equipment evolved over time, eventually transitioning to a new Vista system for Macintosh. This advancement came through collaboration with members of the Cartoon Fantasy Organization, CFO, where one member developed specialized software for the system. Through his industry connections, Chow was able to acquire and implement this improved technology. The documentary indicates that further technical details about subtitling processes will be explored in subsequent episodes. Host William Chow outlines two essential pieces of equipment that were fundamental to early subtitling efforts: the Genlocking box and the time-based corrector, TBC. The TBC, acquired after initial experiments with the Amiga system, was implemented alongside the Macintosh setup. This device served to stabilize video output, eliminating picture jitter and improving tracking quality, resulting in significantly sharper VHS recordings. Chow explains that due to the limited processing capabilities of early computers, external hardware was essential for video processing tasks. The documentary details how the signal processing workflow operated. Video input would pass through multiple specialized devices, each performing specific functions. The signal would first undergo genlocking or time-based correction, then be output to subsequent devices for additional processing. This chain could include power raisers for adjusting contrast and brightness levels, color correction units, and finally, the recording VCR. The host emphasizes how this complex arrangement of interconnected peripheral devices was necessary to achieve the final recorded product. The documentary explores how the technological limitations of early computers prevented the implementation of sophisticated graphical elements like karaoke lyrics or image displays. Host William Chow explains that these early systems lacked both the processing power and storage capacity necessary for handling complex visual content. The process of subtitle creation required precise timing, as the Genlock device would overlay text onto the video feed in real time. Any errors during this live recording process necessitated a complete restart, making it an arduous and time-consuming endeavor. The host demonstrates how these technical constraints significantly impacted the quality of early subtitling efforts. Through detailed analysis, William Chow acknowledges that the initial subtitle productions faced accuracy challenges due to these technological limitations, while the host indicates that a more comprehensive examination of hardware and software challenges will be addressed in a future episode. This segment provides crucial context for understanding the technical obstacles faced by creators in 1985. The documentary examines Arctic Animation's pragmatic approach to content distribution. Their philosophy prioritized making anime accessible to a wider audience, even if the technical quality didn't match commercial standards. As William Chow explains, this strategy proved beneficial for the broader animation industry, as it helped establish a market for these titles. In retrospect, the host observes that this approach has been validated by time. Many of these early fan-subtitled works have since received professional commercial releases on DVD and Blu-ray formats, offering superior technical quality. The documentary notes that while those original fan-subtitled VHS tapes may now be decomposing in landfills, they served a crucial role in developing the North American anime market.